Hey, yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? It's Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I am one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
We got DJ Optic.
Hello.
Great set, by the way. I checked them out last night. Big shout out to our boy Never Forever. Rest in peace, brother. We're here in Vegas and we got a special guest. I've known this DJ for more than 15 years. And he's one of the most analytical and progressive minds in our community. And I mean this, like, seriously. If there's anyone who could take an idea from concept to execution, whether it be a website, app, event, or company, this is the man to do it. Like, I will call this motherfucker when I need advice or, like, guidance. He's exceptional when it comes to development and operations. This man never stops working. He's worked previously with Jazzy Jeff, helped execute the first 5 playlist retreats before the pandemic hit. He's now at Pioneer, Alpha Theta, and Humble Riot, which is an experience design and marketing company. I don't know when he has the time for DJing. And he has a big DJ conference called Level Up for DJs coming up. Level Up for DJs is a 2-day, 3-night conference focused on empowering DJs, elevating careers, and building connections. This is his 3rd Level Up, and it's coming up in March, Sunday, March 29th. And he has speakers and events with Scratch Bastard and more. It's always an enlightening experience speaking with this motherfucker, and I'm happy to have him here. Let's welcome DJ Zimmie in the building. Zimmie.
You did it last time. You did another soundbite intro that I need at the beginning of my mixtapes.
Yeah.
You called me a very cerebral motherfucker last time.
Oh,
it was
nice.
the most ghost face compliment I've ever received.
Cricket has been known recently to give the best intro. So like Fat Man Scoop used to give you a drop. Cricket would give you a bomb ass fucking Fat Man Scoop type of intro.
That could be a whole new lane. Like instead of let me get a DJ drop, can I get a 30-second intro?
Yeah.
I don't think
for my promo pitch deck.
It's funny, you were telling me that you listened to your last episode, which was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Right about.
Yeah. You know what? Like I was telling Crooked, you don't realize all the things you've done over 5 or 10 years until you look at, pictures or some kind of record. So even just what you guys have done, since then, the brand that you have built with R.O.A.D podcast. And that was just, dude, I'll give you an example. On that podcast, you guys were talking about people DJing and showing up at the club with a camera guy, and the camera guy got kicked out, or trying to film moments in the club. That was 7 years ago. Now that is part of your job description. You show up with a camera guy. So all these things have just changed since that, what we were talking about. It's crazy.
And it's crazy because we're at episode 370 plus now, and you were episode 46.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. It's crazy because going on that camera guy, I was just talking to a DJ in New York last year, and they were saying how they got a gig at a venue, and having a camera guy was mandatory. They were at a club, and the club was paying them $400 to $500 for a whole night. And he's like, well, getting a camera guy is $350. So he's like, I'm making no money.
Yep.
But it was kind of when he got the gig, they're like, so do you need access for your videographer? And he was like, I didn't know I needed that shit. And they're like, oh, we prefer that. And then so he did it, but it was he's like, I made no money. How is this sustainable?
Are they asking him for footage too, or do they just want him to post content?
They want him to post content, and I guess if it's good enough, they'll maybe use some of it. I don't really know, but they want his Instagram to be constantly marketing and promoting that venue.
Everyone is just hitching their cart to everyone else's shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to invite collaborators.
It's a new level of laziness. There's this new level of accepted laziness and uncreativity.
Well, even just from a brand coherence and consistency standpoint, if I run a club, I'm hiring a video team, and they're going to work every Friday, Saturday, and the videos will have a consistent look and feel.
100%.
Right.
You bring in Jamie and he don't know how to work a camera and the shit's all wonky. That reflects poorly on
your performance,
on the venue, on everything.
But you're assuming that there's people at this venue that care that much about the creative direction of how they look optically.
Another big part of the last podcast was our discussion of.
So nothing's changed.
It was assumptions about people that book, manage, and run clubs giving a fuck. That was a huge part of that podcast, was telling stories and being like, well, who's the culprit here? And it would be 25-year-old cokehead manager that just got hired that doesn't know anything about music.
So when we recorded that podcast, you were living in Portland, but I know you from Pittsburgh. You're born and raised in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, just for a little background, probably more than 15 years ago when I met Zimmie, him and DJ Nugget, Zimmie and DJ Nugget. Big shout to DJ Nugget. I love DJ Nugget. Probably love Nugget more than you, but I see you more often.
Honestly, honestly, you're not.
That was ruthless, man.
I would call that on Polymarket all day.
Yeah.
People love Nugget
No,
more.
he's just saying that because Nugget's like the most lovable fucking fucking guy in the world.
I've never met the guy, but he's always hitting me up like, yo, man,
He took a fucking punch from me, you know.
Oh,
in
for real?
Pittsburgh.
That's why you love him more.
That's a great story.
Oh
but
my God, I forgot about that story. Yes.
Did we talk about that in that?
No.
podcast?
We didn't talk. You referenced it, but you didn't talk about it.
Oh, well, like a long story short, we're getting to that point in this podcast that we've been on so long that I'm just regurgitating stories.
Just telling the same shit.
The good thing is it's your original content, and you're not,
Wow.
it's your turn.
Yeah, but long story short, you guys brought me out for the first time to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And it was this fun fucking thing. I go to Pittsburgh, spin with you guys, get fucking drunk, and then we go to some after party or something. But one night we went to an after party, and I don't know what was happening. We were at it was like a bunch of like dudes crowding the bar. I'm remembering this wrong, but I probably like tapped someone on the shoulder like, yo, like, are you ordering? Can I order? And then some shit started.
Yeah.
And he was gonna swing at me, and I was just like, "Yo, whatever." Like, "Yo, fucking, if you're gonna do something," I think I said something like, "If you're gonna do some shit, stop talking and fucking do it." And he fucking swung, and I like dodged it, but he ended up punching like Nugget right in the face. And let me tell you something:
No wonder you love Nugget more.
the amount of motherfuckers that rallied for Nugget was insane.
It's like you punch Crooked, but do not fucking punch Nugget.
Yeah.
And then, so Nugget got slammed right in the fucking face. He got rushed to the hospital or some shit.
Damn.
Jesus.
And I wasn't even at that bar at the moment. I think I walked in and was like kind of sorting some other shit out.
Yeah.
And it just was pandemonium broke out, and they're like, Nugget's gone.
Wait, did
What happened?
Nugget know about the altercation, or was he just like literally chilling and then
He
fucking
was standing here, like looking at me.
so he knew that like
So this guy punched and like missed me, but then the end fist ended up hitting him right in
it's
the
like
fucking
the Matrix.
face.
You were like Neo.
Yeah.
and I was so calm too, because it was like he was like this, and I'm like, oh,
I mean, look,
like what are you gonna do?
Crooked just got done DJing, so his blood alcohol level was, you know,
Pure. 1 out of 1.
And that after party was always like, it was the only after party in town. It was the only place that had an after hours liquor license. So yeah, you would get some cool people in there, but you were getting all the fucking True Religion MMA dudes too, who were
But
like,
he knew he fucked up because he saw Nugget. He's like, fuck, like, I hit Nugget in
slow
the face.
motion.
And then all these motherfuckers jumped on him like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? That's
Yeah.
Nugget.
Yeah.
Do not hit Nugget.
Yeah, he's like the mayor of Pittsburgh. So
Long story short, Nugget hits me later at like, I don't
Your
know,
phone,
6 a.m.
Not physically.
I'm gonna need a punch back.
I'm like, yo, fam, I'm so sorry about that night. Like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, bro, it's the best thing that ever happened. He's like, I was trying to holler at this girl and she took me to the hospital. and he's like, she's at my crib right now, like taking care of me.
You're the best wingman in the world.
I was like, all right, yeah, if it worked out, then it worked out.
That's like a real pet peeve of yours, is people fucking taking up that space at the bar. This just came up on another episode.
I don't think people realize that.
Order your drink, get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. I think people think they're like, oh, I can stay here now. Like, this is my designated, like, I own this, like, real estate now that I ordered one drink.
I can't wait. Next time I'm out, I'm posting up right in front of you at the bar.
But anyway, I've known you since then from Pittsburgh, and then you moved to Portland, and now you're back in Pittsburgh.
yeah, I moved to Portland for about 10 years, and the pandemic really kind of took that city down. And it also started becoming super expensive. Like, it was basically becoming San Francisco prices. And Pittsburgh's always just been really affordable. And I came back to visit and just kind of went and looked at some places and was like, you know, what am I doing here? So I just moved home. All my work is remote now. I travel a lot for work. So like, the thing that I learned from some of my tour manager friends was like, if your life is going to be nuts, if you're going to be traveling and doing crazy stuff, your home situation has to be like
The cheap.
zen.
Super calming.
Yeah. So like, I come home, I got some land, I got some trees, chill.
You want to, like, leave the country, though, right? we were talking.
I want to go live in the woods somewhere away from everyone and everything. Yeah.
He doesn't have high hopes for the country right now.
I don't think anybody
Or the world.
We went to dinner and we went to Coat, and Optic was spinning a great house set, by the way.
Thank you.
And we've been talking about politics and just the state of everything, DJing and everything. I mean, half our conversation we're like, this should be in the podcast tomorrow.
Yeah, really. It was like trying to remember what to say. No, I mean, I've traveled a lot for work and for tour managing and all of these things. And I just, the interesting thing about 2026 today is talking to people about like, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? Right? Seems very chill, but it's just weird. It seems like at some point the conversation,
it just gets started.
Someone says the wrong thing, you go, yeah. And then and then all of a sudden it's the apocalypse, right? So you try to keep it like, oh, how was your summer? And like, yeah, my friend got arrested by ICE or some shit. And you're just like, oh man, now we can't get out of this conversation. So, you try to not devolve into those conversations, but just, I mean, having friends around the world that are like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, we don't have that. That's not happening right now. Like, I told you, I talked to a bunch of homies in Canada. I was like, how has your life changed in the past 10 years? And like, it hasn't, nothing's going on up here. It's really boring. I'm like, that sounds lovely.
Do you see what's happening over here?
It's a very strange feeling because I just got back from Australia and we went to, like my sister-in-law's engagement party. Every single person at this party came up and said, are things as bad as they seem? Like it's crazy to be like from this country and think of kind of like how we think of this country in our own minds and then go somewhere else and have them talk to you like you're in like the third world.
Yeah.
Being like, how are you getting by? Is it okay? Is everything all right? Is the news as bad as it seems? And you're like, well, actually, in some ways, it's worse.
Yeah, it's like you think you're in, like, people are talking to you like you're from Ukraine.
Yeah,
and it's like, and then they go back to their normal life of like chill.
And it's like very like comedic to them in a certain way. They're like watching us like this like cartoonish dumpster fire. They're like, what the fuck is going on over there? And they're like, aren't you guys supposed to be in charge of everything? Like, could you guys figure this shit out? Because like what you guys do affects all of us. So like, I don't know. It's I haven't felt this way since I was traveling like 2007, 2008, like Iraq war era. Because people would be like, what
also
the fuck?
like the recession hitting and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so without getting too doom and gloom on everything, it's just, it's a tough time for a lot of people. I just look at what's going on. And I have other friends in other countries. So you're like, friends are just texting me and I'm like, what's going on with you? And it's like, you're getting these weird perspectives that I think a lot of people who are just like insular in America, don't travel, have never been anywhere, don't have.
Yeah.
And that gives you like almost like a worse perspective. Like you thought you were making great scrambled eggs and then you went to a restaurant and went, oh my God, I suck at scrambled eggs.
Right.
It's like that times 1,000.
Yo, roadies and roadies for life. You already know that we rock heavy with DJ City. It's our go-to record pool to download the latest music, edits, and remixes for our DJ sets. So now, Road listeners can join DJ City for only $10.
$10?
Only $10. That's almost 70% off the first month. Make sure you scan the QR code or click the link in the description or go to djcity.com/offer/road to jump on this great deal.
So tell me about the Level Up for DJs. This conference, it's the third year.
Yeah.
Right? I went to the one last year.
Yep.
We've had this conversation before because you and I, we've attended, some other DJ conferences.
Yeah.
And we feel like maybe the messaging and the focus and like some of the intentions just seemed a little off. Some of the panel discussions, like some of the people that were on the panel, we were like, this isn't the right people for the panel. Some of the guest speakers were like, what is this? What's going on? And it was sending mixed messages to these DJs. And like towards the end of the conference, I would speak to the DJs and the DJs were more confused than they were in the beginning,
So I'm gonna make kind of like a roundabout answer. So pre-COVID, I was working with Jeff's team, Jazzy Jeff's team, and we started working on the playlist retreat.
You were working with Jeff for how long?
I was lightweight when the first one happened, like 2015, but after that I got on the road with him and was teching and tour managing and stuff. So,
but ultimately the company that Jeff was working on for the playlist retreat is Humble Riot, the company you work with now.
Yeah. So I'm working on stuff with Jeff and this team comes in to help plan playlist retreat.
Yeah.
And that is my now current boss, Aunt Demby and Melody from Humble Riot. So we just worked on that, and I knew who they were, and like that was a thing. COVID hits, and Ant's like, hey man, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm hanging out in my house doing nothing. So everything was remote. I was spending a lot of time. Live streaming was really popping off. I was producing live streams for other people. So we started working on virtual campaigns for brands. We were doing like live stream music festivals for Oatly and like MailChimp campaigns, like all this crazy stuff. So world opens up. I start working for Ant full time at Humble Right, which you had asked me, like, how would you describe the company? And it's so weird because we do like brand campaigns, or we like make music for ads, or we like put together an artist gathering in Peru, and like just the craziest stuff. It's like not really like some linear, like my mom has not understood what I've done as a DJ like my entire life. Like I can't explain it. And now my job, she'll just be like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in Turkey. And she's like, did they feed you? And I'm like, yeah. How'd you get there?
Well, so the problem is there's a lot of companies now who used to have marketing teams, right? And they used to hire like, advertisement agencies, and they need help kind of like focusing their ideas or like their advertising or marketing to the public. Now there is like almost no marketing team. There's like analytic teams now who like are geniuses with like analyzing analytics and like, oh, social media hits and all of this shit, and focus groups and like, oh, this works. But they have no creative sense on how to take an idea and then execute an event, or see if we don't really need an event. We need a live stream. We need this. This is what's going to fit, what you need. So a lot of people come to you with this kind of like problem, and you kind of like develop a solution for them.
A lot of our calls. So my boss is extremely humble. He doesn't like to talk about his work, but he has a long history in the music industry and managing really big artists and all these things. And a lot of people come to us, and we had a client that, was teeing us up, this woman we knew, and we're like, who are we talking to on this call? And she said, it's pale, male, and stale. And we get a lot of clients that have money. They're a big company. They're a global brand. They have no idea what's cool. So for example, we had a bank that we worked with.
Oh, pale meaning Caucasian.
White guys.
Male.
Zoom, Hollywood.
Jesus, that was.
I don't really like the way you're looking at me with every one of those words. Say the last one.
I'm looking at optic. So pale meaning optic.
Yeah.
Male meaning optic. All right. And stale meaning optic.
It's gonna be a nugget situation all over again.
I miss Jamie, and I hit Crooked right in the face. No, so for example, we had this financial company that called us, and they needed new music for everything: podcast music, website music, like everything.
Right.
So what we did was we brokered a partnership with Beat Club, Timbaland's program, where he like mentors producers. Dude, and we teed up like, Latin first time home buyers, cool. We connected them with this dude who makes Latin music, like bangers, all these different things. So then we were able to translate stale banker to like cool music person and get them what they needed, which is super hard to explain on paper.
Yeah.
Right.
But like that's part of our job. So,
and that's the new standard now for corporate, like a lot of big corporate like companies, like they don't have the team. Everyone's an independent contractor pretty much for marketing, right?
Yeah. So they're looking at like a Wyden Kennedy or some company that has this record of just working with brands and coming up with these famous campaigns that everybody knows. So, so part of that job is we do a lot of experience design, which I kind of hate to say because you hear it a lot with like wellness, woo-woo, like we're going to go do yoga on like Mount Everest and shit. But we'll bring groups of people to different parts of the world, wherever they need to be, and we organize like the experience they have and make it impactful. And, they leave with a lot of questions about what they're trying to do, either creatives or musicians or democracy, civic rights, like all kinds of stuff, right? So pandemic ends, I get hired at Pioneer DJ. I'm doing
How did that happen?
So I'm on the road with Jeff, and we had this West Coast run, and we did all these meetings at like SoundCloud, Pioneer DJ, all these, just like taking meetings with all these companies. And Pioneer was working on the S11. So I sit in this meeting, and Drew, shout out to Drew and a bunch of people, got the S11 up, and it's in like production idea stage. So they're like going over with Jeff, like, what do you think about these buttons and like what should be here and this and that? And I'm like, ooh, hey, what if you move that over there and you did this? And like, I guess I had some okay ideas because after the meeting, Drew was like, yo, do you want to do like more of this shit? So I'd actually started before I got hired helping with product planning. So it was kind of like, hey, we're working on a new controller. Like I worked on the Rev 7. I worked on the Cross 12s, like a bunch of stuff that you might have used. I kind of had some input on. So part of my job is I go to trade shows. I go do artist support. My job is artist relations, and then I do product planning. So I go to trade shows and festivals and DMC battles, wherever someone's like, hey, can you send someone to represent, or can we whatever? Like next month I'm going to the Baltimore Blend Battle in Baltimore with my man Tim Nice, and we're gonna have a booth and the gear and whatever. So I start getting invited to DJ conferences, and having worked on the Playlist Retreat, having worked on some of these big events for the day job, I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. I'm like, it's like if you build houses and you go in someone's house, you're just kind of looking around like, that's an interesting choice. Okay. So we go to some conferences, and they kind of missed the mark. And, I got a lot going on. I'm like, all right, they'll figure it out. Some people figure it out. There's no way you could fuck that up and not figure it out. A couple years go by. Bad.
It just stays the same.
So
Still haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're coming from Playlist Retreat, which is like completely a different experience.
Yeah.
It feels like you're entering into Jeff's home.
Yeah.
It's very warm. Everything's like very intentional. It's very thoughtful, right?
Yeah.
And the way it's catered and crafted, and it's like you leave feeling like, oh my God, like these motherfuckers are family.
Yeah.
Like I just made friendships with, like, I just had a regular conversation with Lord Finesse and like Pasta Noose and like, Maceo. Like I'm talking to De La Soul about life.
Yeah.
And like I'm sharing a blunt with like Rich Medina, and we're talking about like problems with the industry.
Yeah.
Right. It's a completely different experience.
And I'm going to talk about kind of this conversation in a little bit. But so I'm like, all right, well, I'm working at Pioneer, and they're like, hey, the Playlist Retreat doesn't look like it's coming back. What do you think we should work on this year? And I was like, I had this idea for a DJ conference. So I write it up, and I get some input about how to write this up, and we do the first one. And the feedback I get, and the way I look at it is, for you to be a good DJ, you have to do all the DJ shit. You have to have the music, you have to know how to use the gear, all that. But like, as some of our conversations last night at dinner, if you can't pay your bills, you can't focus on being a good DJ. If you're suffering from performance anxiety, you can't be a good DJ. So like, how do we do all the other stuff too? And like you said, build a community where everyone's accessible. Yo, man, I'm trying to do this thing, and I know you do this thing. Yo, I got to play this gig at this restaurant. I know that's like, how do I, what advice do you have? That's what you got to build. So first year happens, and it's great. And a couple people had been to other gatherings, and they're like, yo, I think you got something. So then the next year we have it, and you guys came and, tightened up some of the bolts.
Yeah.
And we had some guys come from Baltimore, and they're like, I don't even know how to describe this to people. Like, I don't know how to go back to my community and be like, because they've been to so many conferences. This is one of the big things I'm fighting against is conferences have ruined the perception of conferences.
100%.
So like, I watch a feedback video, like a recap video from a conference, and it's like, here's a bunch of people dancing, and there's a dude DJing, and a guy playing the saxophone, and a guy dressed like Daft Punk, and like, the panel is like, how to take requests. And I'm like, yo, if that's what you're trying to work on, like one of the conferences we went to, they had this mental health discussion with no mental health expert on the panel.
Yeah.
People were just raising their hand like, I have dark thoughts sometimes. I'm like, yo, you can't.
We're all DJs. Of course we do.
You can't build this container, right? And the conversation basically devolves to your social media is driving you crazy. We break for lunch, and we come back, and the next panel is social media.
I remember that.
And I just remember sitting there going, this guy was talking about offing himself, and y'all are up here talking about how to maximize reach, and like, yo, this ain't okay. So
someone raised their hand. They're just like, wait, what about the stuff from before lunch?
Yeah, you can't do that. So part of the design is like, we have mental health discussions at Level Up, but like, I bring in mental health professionals. I design it with them. Like, that's not me. You tell me how we make this a safe space.
Right.
I bring in financial professionals. You tell me how we discuss investing in finances in a safe way, in a so people aren't doing wild shit.
Right.
And it's part of the sauce right there.
So I remember you reaching out to me about your Level Up conference last year, 2025, and you said, come out. And I was like, fuck, man, it's like I'm really busy and like I can make it for like these days. I can't make it. I think it's 3 days. The first day is like the greeting day.
Yeah.
There's like an event. Everyone's kind of getting to know each other. But the second day is like when the curriculum and all the discussions and shit start.
Yeah.
So I could only make it for the second day. I remember like maybe half of it. Right. And I've known you for a long time and you're a very real dude. Like, you're very honest, maybe like
Too honest.
yeah, you're almost like me, right? Where like you're very like transparent and you're brutally honest.
I don't have a filter. It's
You don't have a
gift and a
filter.
curse.
But
yeah.
it's not with malice. It's just honesty with the care.
No. But
it
what's
just
good is
becomes
both you and I are very different, but we're very similar. Like I'm very analytical, and I'm maybe overly judgmental, and you could be that way too. But you're maybe more analytical than I am. But you and I see things in a lot of ways. So when I came to this level up thing, you were like, just come through and let me know what you think.
Can I ask you a question before you tell the story?
Go ahead.
When I told you to come to this thing, in your mind, were you picturing the other conferences you had been to?
Not at all.
Like, what did you have in your mind when you're like, I'm going to Zimmie?
Well, first of all, it's in Pittsburgh, right? And you're from Pittsburgh, and I love Pittsburgh, but it's kind of like hard to get to Pittsburgh. There's like not a lot of like, it's hard to get to anywhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Pretty much there's only connecting flights. It's very rare to get a nonstop flight. So my biggest worry was like,
I got to go to Pittsburgh.
I got to go to Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
I think you were in New York at the time.
right out the
Yeah.
gate, we're fucked up.
Because it's like I don't want to have to take a train or like I'm like I don't want to be in a fucking thing for like hours to get to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And long story short, I was like, I know this is going to be good, but I was like, I was just very curious to see like how janky it was. You know what I mean? Like what their focuses are. And to be honest with you, when I got there, I was like, I love this. I love everything about this. I love the intention. I love like everything, every panel, every kind of like workshop was like, it was just great. And I was like, this is what a DJ conference should be.
What's good, everyone? This is P-Dot from Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast. Whether you're just discovering the podcast or a day one listener, if you've been loving the content and want more, here's your chance to support the pod, get closer to the action, and unlock exclusive content by joining our Patreon. For just $5 a month, you can join our Tier 1 R.O.A.D subscription. This is for our loyal listeners who want early access to new episodes 3 to 4 weeks ahead, your name in the credits of every video episode, and access to our exclusive R.O.A.D edits pack. For the hardcore supporters, we've got our Tier 2 R.O.A.D for Life subscription for just $10 a month. This is the all-in package. You'll get everything from Tier 1, plus a monthly bonus episode, early access to our exclusive R.O.A.D 10 and R.O.A.D Talk interviews, behind-the-scenes content, our In the Crate series, along with unreleased projects. This is your chance to support the podcast and get more of the content that you love. Join the family today at patreon.com/R.O.A.D podcast. Check the link in our descriptions. We appreciate you, and let's keep this journey going.
I never really co-sign a lot of shit, but I think it's what you're doing is so important. And I know your intentions are like 100% pure.
Yes.
Thank you, yeah.
1,000.
And I know that what you put together was really, really smart and strategic, and the scheduling was on point. It's just, I think every DJ should check this out. And it's one of those things where the panel discussions on, finances was so spot on. I was like, this is great. They're talking about bank accounts, LLCing, invoicing, everything. Taxes, how you should organize how much you should put aside for taxes, all of this shit. And then the mental health was great. Shortkut was there.
Yo,
And,
if anybody watching this wants a sample, if you go to the site Level Up for DJs, that we had Shortkut, and I called him. Short's my
Right.
dude. Shout out Shortkut.
And this is right after his stroke.
And I said, bro, I'd love for you to come to this thing. Do you feel comfortable talking to people about your experience?
Right.
And he was like, I need to. He hadn't spoken in public about it yet. So we have this panel, and we go through the history of the Bay Area, sound system culture.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Scratch Pickles coming up, the battle scene, it's just like, and about 40 minutes in, we get into the stroke, and we play this video. You can watch this. It's on our site. You can watch the whole panel. We play this video from the Bay Area news that's like local area DJ Shortcuts, and it's like they love them. Everyone loves them. It's this piece, and we're all sitting there watching this thing.
New at 10, a popular Bay Area DJ known worldwide for being a pioneer in the industry has suffered a life-altering stroke. Now the music community and fans around the globe are rallying behind DJ Shortkut. KTVU's Betty Yu joining us in studio with his story. Betty.
Christina, DJ Shortkut has performed on some of the biggest stages around the world. He's a legendary entertainer known for his versatility and artistic skill. Also one of the biggest Filipino-American DJs in the game. This was one of the highlights of DJ Shortkut's career, performing at the Roots Picnic, an all-star Hollywood Bowl concert in June. After returning to the Bay Area the next day, the 48-year-old Daly City native, whose name is Jonathan Cruz, suffered a hemorrhagic stroke. It left him paralyzed in one side of his body.
I've been his manager for 15 years now, but I've known him for over 25. I was in shock. I was devastated.
And to thousands of music fans around the world, DJ Shortkut, also known as Short, was a pioneer. He's a prominent member of the San Francisco DJ crew Invisible Scratch Pickles, which includes Mixmaster Mike. They introduced an art form called turntablism to the DJ world in the 90s, showcasing the artist and the turntable as an instrument.
I was a fan watching it, and then I would go home and imitate it, right? Never was as good as Short, though.
Official Warriors DJ D Sharp said Short influenced his style. D Sharp joined other well-known DJs and supporters at a massive benefit block party on Sunday.
Shortkut's gonna beat this. You have a lot of people that love him internationally.
His friends recently sent a mini DJ set to the hospital.
He told me he hasn't been away from turntables this long in his life. And for him to not be able to like walk up to the turntables, and then, you know, like I'm emotional when he tells me like, oh, I'm trying to get back into it. But, you know, it's very hard for him right now.
Short's GoFundMe page has nearly tripled its initial goal.
He was actually in tears, just overwhelmed by the response. And as awesome as he is, he forgets that he's so revered around the world.
DJ Shortkut is dealing with vision loss and cognitive complications. He faces a very long road ahead with rehab and therapy. Christina.
Do doctors know at this point if he'll make a full recovery?
Well, even though he's made great progress in the last few weeks, they aren't able to say at this point if he will. So right now, focusing on taking things day by day.
And I turn and look, and Short's right here, and he's just got his hood up, and he's just crying. And I'm like, "Are you cool?" And he goes, "I'm good, I'm good." And I look out at the audience, and all these people in the audience are like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So then we kind of, you know, we talk through it and whatever, and then it ends, and he ends up doing like all these one-on-one, like people are just like, "I just want to thank you. Like I got to get my shit together." Like this was, and like it just totally changed the room, and everyone had a nice dinner, and then we went to a party, but it was like, you should leave with something going, yo, I got to like rethink some shit about my life.
Right. Whether it's drinking or like overindulgence of health, not sleeping, like you address all these health issues that like how to like control this. And what's great is that all these DJs after every panel discussion talk to each other.
Yeah.
And everyone's discussing and helping. And you have all ages. You have like 20-year-old DJs. You have like 40-year-old DJs, 50-year-old DJs. The best thing though that you guys did were these workshops where he put together like 4 groups or like 6 or I don't know what, however many groups, and he separated like groups of like 8 or something or 6, and it could have been more like 10.
I try to intentionally make generations like work on stuff together, because what you get is old people that are like, I don't, you know, fucking young kids are doing stupid shit, and then you get young people that are like, nobody cares about your back in the day bullshit you're talking about. So I try to get them to work on something so they can find
a new idea,
that common ground, and be like, oh, we're both doing the same shit. Like we just have different hacks, you know?
Yeah. But what's interesting is that we go into these workshops and like I'm in a group of like a 50-year-old DJ, a 30-year-old DJ, married, single, young fucking DJ. We're all mixed together. And this kind of thing of these like heads butting online on the internet and social media, it's really like a social media thing.
Yeah.
Because when we were in these groups, everyone was so giving and open. It made me like emotional. It makes me emotional now because it really kind of made me see that all these differences and conflicts that are omnipresent online that we think are real are not fucking real. When we get in person with each other, there's so much more in common that an older DJ and a younger DJ has. A younger DJ has this drive and ambition and hunger and thirst that an older DJ sees in themselves, and they respect it and they love it.
Yeah.
And then this older DJ wants to help. And when you have them together, this conflict doesn't exist anymore. And I think I forgot what the questions were. Some of them were like, how's your approach to social media?
Yeah, like I pick different topics,
right?
But I try to make the topics something where they're going to be varied answers.
Yeah.
And what we do is we have one person in each group kind of record. We put all of them together, and I literally send every attendee all of the information.
Yeah.
So if you missed a gem from Optic about music organization, it'll be in the sheet. You can just look at it later.
Yeah, and everyone wants to help so much.
The internet manufactures DJ versus DJ.
Yeah.
It's not. The real is DJ versus the industry, DJ versus health, DJ versus like whatever the problems are, we just have to work on it together instead of being like, yeah, fuck Optic.
Yeah.
It's seriously, it's just like, you need help with something? Like, what do you need?
But when I think of the conference scene, it seems like you're coming at it from like a very like pure, like altruistic place with intention for thinking about like when these people leave this space, are they going to have like actionable items to like make their lives better and succeed? When I see a promo for a conference, my brain is like starting to become hardwired to think these people are trying to get money.
Yeah.
Like it's like save 30% off of da 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 da, and it's like, you know, it just all seems like people got together for a lot of conferences, and this is not at anyone specifically, like for any business, any industry, and they're like, we need some extra money. Maybe we could just get a bunch of people in a room and like give them a shitty like Caesar wrap and
Holiday Inn conference center.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like, it seems like, and it makes a lot of sense based off your professional experience, because you are designing experiences, thinking like really like intentionally with what you're doing. And then you brought that back to your true love where you all started. So it like all kind of came full circle.
Yeah. I need to really shout out Ant Mel at Humble Ride, because a lot of the stuff that makes, I think, it work, I learned at the day job, you know? And I'm going to get totally into some of that in a minute, like what you were just talking about. But I always tell people, like, I want you to leave with just as many questions as you do answers.
Right.
Come figure some shit out, but then go home and be like, fuck, what am I doing about that?
The best thing too is that like during these like kind of workshops where we're all talking, like everyone is saying, like, I think there was also another question about health or like something, I forgot what it was, or just like kind of the stress of DJing. How do you handle the stress or the pressure? But we're all talking and everyone's like, bro, I'll give you my number. I can help you with this, or I'll help you with this. And it was just like, it was just so much generosity. And like, I was just like, in gratitude, everyone was just so grateful. I was just like, this is beautiful. And I think it was very recently after like Never passed. And it was one of those things where I was just like, I was emotional. And then, you know, like Shortkut having a stroke and Never having a stroke. I was emotional, you know? So like when I was at that conference, I was like, this is what a DJ conference needs to be. And I know you're the person, you're kind of like one of the most idealistic persons I know, but you're also very much a realist.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like your view on how something should be is always going to be idealistic, but you're going to be a realist on how it's going to get executed.
Yeah.
You know, so I think those are the combinations of a person running something like this that I trust. And when I saw it happen and come to fruition and I was experiencing it myself, I loved it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I told you immediately, I said, let me know how we can help for next year. Yeah.
And it's funny enough, because I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying, Cricket, because we've been to conferences and Zimmie's in the crowd and he's the one right next to the microphone asking the hard-hitting questions that kind of stump the speaker with some real questions that I'm like, oh shit, no one thought about that but Zimmie. And then, but it's like, it's not surface questions, it's beyond that shit. So I could only imagine how articulate what you were with shit for yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the conference you're talking about that you were kind of like, like you were upset about, there was another one before that one that was way worse. It was like, if you could think of anything that was worse, it was even more worse.
Awesome.
And it was like, there was a panel discussion on working DJs, and it was like, all the DJs were like, it was like these people who like no disrespect.
Yeah, but they're not like struggling for bookings.
No, like but they're not. They're
not the working class.
Yeah,
they're not working club DJs.
Yeah,
they're like fucking goats.
Elite brands.
Yeah, elite like showcase DJs.
We talked about this last night at dinner. I watch a lot of interviews where I'm like, this is great advice for you. There's nothing I can take away from this experience that applies to me playing Friday night at a local spot. Your festival stage advice. Like sometimes there is something that's like, it's just a thread for everyone. But I think a lot of times the questions don't get asked, or the people don't think about like, how do I make this accessible to regular DJs?
Like how to start a clothing brand with like Rick Owens and Karl Lagerfeld. Or
Yeah. Fuck. And then Taylor Swift called me. It's like none of us can relate to any of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember there was this young lady from New York saying, she was talking about Tao Group at the time, and she was like, I'm working at Tao Group and I'm getting paid $400 or $300 for 6 hours, and they see no value in me. They don't value me at all. And she's like, and I work like 3 to 4 nights a week for them, and they're giving the opportunities to like some other influencer DJ who doesn't know how to DJ. She's like, how do I change this? Or where do I focus on my career? And then they were just kind of like, yeah, like start your own party, And
like, man, that's tough.
And there is some truth to that. Like start your own thing, like entity and everything. But it was kind of one of those things where I was like, wow, like,
yeah,
they don't understand even that position of being part of just being like this kind of miner in a coal mine operation of nightclubbing. You know, you're disposable, you're dispensable.
I think the other thing that really impacts people is on some of these panels, if you have a bigger DJ, an older DJ, a veteran DJ, and they're having the same problem you're having. So watching conversations where 55-year-old, 35-year DJ talking about performance anxiety, substance abuse, etc., and someone 25 in the audience, and then them having lunch after and talking, that's the gem. You know what I mean? And I don't need to be in the middle of that. Go do what you need to do, have that conversation. But it's like, that helps you see like, yo, we're in this together.
It's great. Like, I think the panels, when I went to the Level Up conference last year, panels were great. The workshops were great. And then you had events as well.
We do parties. We do parties at night because a lot of these DJs, I try to make like almost a summer camp vibe. And I know a lot of these DJs are not going to get an opportunity to hear. They hear Rich Medina talk on a panel and blow their minds. And then they get to hear him play. And they get to hear Melody from the Beat Junkies.
Well, you got Scratch Bastard now.
Scratch Bastard's here this year. He's doing Tuesday morning coffee from the conference. Trey's is coming out. Like we got all kinds of like... Shortkut talks about his stroke. I helped him get up the stairs to the stage, and I'm like, oh boy. And then he got on and blew everybody away. And I thought he had a stroke. And I'm like, I don't know how he's this good at, but I mean, like him, Diamond D, like it's just, giving those people the opportunity to be inspired, to be like, yo, thank you for booking this party. I would have never got to see these guys.
Right. So you have Scratch Bastard this year. Who else do you have coming through?
This year we've got some panels with some monetization. We're talking with Trey's, Dom Perignon, who's a Twitch partner streamer. We're going to talk to Bassett about his career. He's doing a party for us. We've got big ones coming out from Chicago to do that party, and DJ Spark from LA. We've got PDC, who's a local homie who DJs for the Pittsburgh Penguins and does a bunch of like professional sports stuff. He's going to be there. And a couple things I just haven't announced yet. Yeah. So.
And then the after parties are all at Goldmark, which is Nuggets Bar.
Yeah, we'll do Monday night at Goldmark and then Tuesday night at Spirit, which is another local spot. But that's another thing. They get to meet Nugget. He hangs out, whatever. And then they get to go see his bar. They can talk to him about running a bar, owning a bar.
That's another DJ who opened his bar, and it's been voted like best bar in Pittsburgh for like what? He's been open, 10 years now?
10 years. Shout out Adam and Nicole,
he's literally holding down that whole city.
Yeah,
with
very
his bar.
DJ centric. I think they have DJs like Wednesday through Saturday every week.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually very curious because we had a long conversation about social media. What are some of the focuses on social media you think are going to be at the panel this year? Because it's changed drastically since last year.
Yeah. The biggest thing that, I think I mentioned this at one of the gatherings, but we were at a playlist retreat and we had this social media panel. And the guy that was there, I can't remember his name, but at one point he was managing like Beyonce's team's accounts and like all these big accounts. And, he does his whole spiel and everyone's asking questions. And I just asked, what's the question we should be asking that we're not asking? And the guy was like, everybody asks me how to get more followers. He's like, you don't need more followers. You have enough followers. You're ignoring your hardcore army. You're ignoring your 10% that buy everything you put out, watch every video you make. So in this current climate, we're talking a little bit about, AI is a whole different thing, but like how to monetize, how to convert. Yeah, you have this big following now. Well, having a big following doesn't give you a paycheck. You don't get 1 million followers and they go, congratulations, 1 million followers check.
Right.
How do you convert that? How do you turn that into other opportunities? How do you turn that into other business ventures for yourself? Mm-hmm. How do you use these platforms to steer your career where you want it to go? We can get down into the minutia about a lot of social media stuff, but like part of it is the thing that I don't understand is who do these DJs think they're making content for?
That's good.
They're not making it for promoters, club owners, maybe event planners, maybe brides, if because it's largely people in the wedding and private event community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're just making content for other DJs that are literally your competition. Like, how do we get around this and showcase your talents, your unique gifts? Why someone should book you? Why someone should watch your thing?
Right. It's interesting because in the last year, maybe a little bit more than that, I've noticed like an intense desperation in the content I've been seeing on social media.
Guys.
It's not organic. It's not authentic. And I could literally smell and see the desperation in the content that I'm seeing. And it depresses me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll like and support it, but I'm like, I think about the DJ and I'm like, fam, you're better than this. Like, you don't need to do this.
This is the real conversation. How did we get into this hamster wheel where your job is now making content and there's not enough content for you to make? Like, it's one thing if you're Coco. Coco doesn't even speak fucking English. And I watch his videos all day long because all he's doing is every day recording him being amazing. Every time I open my Facebook or something, hey guys, it's me, your boy, Bill. People are always asking me. Nobody's fucking asking you, Bill. Like, hey guys, here's my top 5. Like, where did you? And I can tell they're just, like you said, you can smell the desperation. And they're just sitting around all day going, okay, I could do a top 5. What's a top 5? Top 5 favorite. You can tell they're just sitting around all day. And then they record a video. And then the second it's done, you got to record another one. They're on the fucking hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, that is the conversation. It's like, how do you get around that? How do you do better? How do you not be?
And I see it in every industry of DJing. Like I see EDM producers like doing these like testimonial or like infomercial selfie videos where they're like, hey, dropping my new single, blah 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 blah, like check it out. And I'm like, and you could even see the uncomfortableness in their face
that they didn't want to do it.
They don't want to do it, but they'll even say like, hey, I know everyone's been telling me I should be on camera more. So like
people are always telling me get on camera.
Here's me on camera. I'm dropping a new single and da 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 da.
The problem is you have no reason to make anything. So for example, I follow people who are artists. And I follow people who draw anime. Their entire feed is just time lapses of how they draw stuff. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is literally you showing me your talent. Yeah. It's not you talking about why you make the thing or how. It's literally you.
Right.
And DJs can't sit there. I mean, the talent is a whole other conversation because, you get the terrible like routine videos, but then you get a lot of people that can't even do those. So it's like, then they still have to make something. So they're like, hey guys, people are always asking me. It's like, motherfucker, just do something, just DJ, just put up 10 minutes, you DJing.
Yeah. But I feel like, at least for me, I'm like paralyzed by this conversation with my own social media. So like, I don't even know what to do with it at all because I'm like, hearing these debates in my head before I even start doing something. And it just causes me to be like, maybe I just won't do fucking anything on this thing. Maybe it's not worth it, because I think my talent as a DJ, kind of like to what you're saying, is something that takes an hour of sitting somewhere or being somewhere and listening. It's not something like I can't condense that thing. It's like a ethereal thing that helps me get booked or makes me work, that does not translate to a 15-second attention span.
Well, it's really, and this is where we can kind of like use you as a guinea pig on how to approach marketing.
Sure.
You know? So the one thing that I love about you, Optic, is that you have a very like open knowledge of dance music and house music. You know, like the history.
Incredible.
You know all the subcategories. You are such a big fan of that, right? But you are an open format DJ. You can do any room. And the thing is, like, whether you have social media or not, if Instagram just like kind of got deleted in the next like 2 years, you'd still be working.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect how you make a living or your livelihood 100%. At all. So then the question is, what does social media as a tool, what could it do to broaden your landscape of opportunities or getting the gigs that you want?
Yeah.
So what would that be? Starting your own party?
Yeah.
Right? So if you wanted to start your own party, right? And it would be probably something dance based, right? How would you utilize social media for that? And then what are the passions of this party? Like, what makes this dance party different from other dance parties?
Yeah.
Is it the music, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
of course, yeah.
So what is the music that's not being highlighted? What is the music that you have that isn't being highlighted? You know, but these are just questions. And then, and then how do you attach that to the brand of the party and attach it to you and what you deliver for that party and for people with this music that you're kind of showcasing?
And I think if I'm just being like 100% honest, it's definitely like an amount of laziness, I think, because I think the easy way is to rebuild and recreate everything you're seeing online. And the hard thing to do, and this is even like, you know, you're talking about your conference, like all the work you do, the harder thing to do is to like take the time to be honest and really like think through those things before you just start like kind of shit posting and trying to like quickly like build something. And that is like, even when you just asked me that, I'm like, man, I really need to sit down and take the time to think about it, to do something with intention. Because I think all of this comes down to on social media is you scroll through your feed. Everyone has become an expert in bullshit detection because everything is so fucking fake. We don't know what's true, what's a lie, what's real, what's AI, what's honest, who's fronting, like whatever. Like everything is basically kind of bullshit now. And there's no like monoculture anymore. And so the only thing that has value is honesty. And so, but that takes time. You know what I mean? You can't just like, have a manager be like, make something.
Can I just chime in on another side of this coin? I think a lot about time management. I'm a very busy person. So like I try to really focus on like shit I got to get done. The other thing that I can't stop thinking about, and this is like an industry conversation, is, okay, you post 5 times a week. Just posting alone, you gotta get the post up and you gotta do the copy and like make it all perfect, right? But you gotta make the post, you gotta come up with the idea, and then you gotta, I mean, we've all made a reel that took 2 hours to make that was 30 seconds long, right? What you're not doing with that time is getting better at DJing. If you take 15 hours a week to make and post and do content, shave 5 hours off and fucking practice. Try to get better. Everyone's just dumping all their hours into content that's worthless 24 hours later. And you still suck at DJing. Swear to Christ, like
there's that reckless honesty.
I mean, I'm going right now, shout out to the Beat Junkies. I'm working my way through the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound, their online school, Beat Junkies TV. Awesome. Basic lessons, but it keeps building using both hands. And at the end, they have these cool things where like you're basically sparring with like Babu or someone, and they do a couple things and then you do a couple things. Really great. Dude, you can go through that course in a month. In the time you made 100 dumb videos about people are always asking you, do that and then pick something else and go find a mentor. Get some cool music that is, you know what I mean? Like, these are all things. We all have 24 hours in a day, and you're using all of yours to be like, hey guys, I'm at Guitar Center walking around.
Just feeding this like endless machine of
if you have a great idea, like you said, you're just giving someone else a great idea. Oh, that's a good post. I'm going to make that next week.
Yeah.
Top 5, whatever.
See, I'm not worried about that.
I'm not worried about any of this. I'm just like, if you're watching this, it's like,
I'm not worried about these young DJs who are like focused on marketing and content. I feel like when we were coming up in the beginning, where we were focused on the craft, that's all we had, and there was no marketing. So for me, I feel like it kind of evens out.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those things where, of course, they're going to be great at the marketing. They're going to have a personality. They're going to be like showcasing and doing all these things to like sell themselves.
They're raised with it. They're fluent.
They're fluent in it. And it's the easiest thing for them to do. And I think the DJing they're going to figure it out at some point. No. I think they're going to figure it out. Someone's going to embarrass them. There's going to be and this is the problem with it, is that when they amass a huge following and they get bigger, it's going to be more embarrassing when they fall off, or like when someone pulls their card.
The machine turns back on them.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to figure out how to come back. That's the problem. It's more of a public display of how to come back, because we have off nights. We've lost gigs. We get fired. We get rehired. But it's not publicly seen.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the hardest things, is that if you amass this following, I'm like, yo, I'm actually happy. Like, you're doing good. Oh, I heard they can't DJ as well. They're playing pre-mixed shit. I'm like, well, at some point, this shit's going to come out.
Yeah.
And they're going to get their card pulled. It's going to be more public. It's going to be a bigger thing. And then it's going to be like, well, how are you going to come back?
Yeah.
And if you don't come back, then it was like, all right, well, that was short-lived, wasn't that? That was a short-lived DJ career. But if they do come back, then I'm like, all right, are they coming back like bigger and better than ever? And if they pull it off, I'm kind of like, good for them. It's almost more impressive to me that I'm like, now you got even thicker skin and you're a better DJ.
Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is to fail hard, like get fucked up in a battle, lose a gig, just totally botch like a big money private event, and then be like, and that's the crossroads. You're either like, I'm going to Rocky, go punch some like cows in the freezer and like climb up the hill, or you're just calling it a day. You know what I mean? So
I think what's more important is the DJ who is working, or who is like kind of a steady workhorse, but they cannot get out of this coal miner mentality where they're a worker DJ, and they cannot stop being a worker DJ. They can't change their mentality, because when you're DJing 4 to 5 nights a week, you're mentally exhausted.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have the time. So what you're calling like
Jamie
Optic, what you're calling laziness is sometimes just you decompressing. Like, how much can you do?
If you got a DJ 4 nights a week for 4 hours a night, that's 16 hours. You got the before and after. That's probably an hour on each side of you, like chilling out, getting to the gig, all that. So that's what, 24 hours. That's 6 hours a night. You got to prep the music for the gig. How many hours is that? That's an entire work week. And in your mind, you're like, I only work 4 nights a week for 4 hours. It's like, you're exhausted.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the common joke, right? It's like my whole goal in my life was to never become a person with a day job and like work 9 to 5. And instead I built a life where I work 24/7.
24/7.
You know, like I wake up and I'm like,
podcasting to that. And it's like,
but I mean, I think like, laziness or fear or stress or whatever it is. But I have to go back to like thinking about like the conference and thinking about getting people in a room where they can be honest about these things and help each other, because every DJ is a self-starter. Like, and to what you're talking about, to be on social media, and it's like that moment when somebody finds out that you're a fraud, like that's the moment that person becomes a DJ actually, is because like most normal people don't want to suffer through the amount of stress, personal, professional pitfalls on a weekly basis that all of us have gone through to do this career. It's not a normal way of thinking, you know? And so every single person that becomes a DJ has to have fucking busted their ass to build something from nothing for themselves, and to then go into a room of all those people. And it's not surprising that everyone would be cool with each other, because it's like, we've all been through fucking hell to get to this room to even talk about how hard it is.
Yeah.
Siege mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the best things to do is always partner up and to collaborate. Because when you collaborate, you're held accountable for like, I have to do the work. I have a deadline. I'm letting my friends down.
Crooked's going to make fun of you.
It's one of those things. You wouldn't be here at 11 a.m.
No.
if it wasn't for this podcast and us scheduling it and saying, yo, Optic, you got to come here at this time. Or if we set up meetings and deadlines for when an episode has to get edited.
Yeah.
They have no accountability. So if you're in it alone, you're not going to really be motivated to do anything if you can allow yourself to be like, I'll do it next week.
And we'll all do so much more because like to even get to that place, you had to have done a ton of shit alone for years and years and years.
It's even more lonely now, but before when we had community, it was like when it was community based, where it was kind of like there wasn't that many DJs.
Yeah.
So when you met a DJ, you were instantly like, we're homies.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Even if we don't like each other, there's a common respect.
Oh, there's
for each
DJs
other, you know?
that I fucking hate as people, but I'm like, yo, your man, I have a lot of respect. You know, maybe there's something else I don't like about him. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't hate any DJ.
I hate.
Let me sip on my drink. Hold on.
I don't honestly. I know this is going to come off as a surprise. I don't hate any DJ. I just want them to be better. I just want them to move better.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it differently.
Yeah.
You know how we have conversations about art versus the artist? Like there's some artist that makes a piece of art that's amazing, and then them as a person is like, oh, concerning. That's the same to DJs.
Right.
Man, your man's great. And then you talk to him, you're like, oh, yo, damn, you're on some,
some crazy shit.
But I could
You said some wild shit right there.
I could deal with a really talented DJ who's just an asshole, or they have like asshole, like, opinions.
Yeah.
I can kind of deal with that because I find it humorous. I have a difficulty with like the grifter DJs, with like the con artist DJs who only know the business side.
I mean,
do you understand?
Dude, okay, so I need to transition for a second.
Here we go, baby.
And this is that, I'm working on this follow-up to this End of DJing article I wrote a long time ago, and I'm trying to, as a much more mature person, offer solutions as I identify problems.
What was the name of the article?
It's called The End of DJing.
And when did it come out?
Like 2011 or something.
It went viral.
Super viral.
Yeah, the End of DJing.
So I'm writing a follow-up.
What was that about?
DJing was fucked up. It was like at this peak moment of like celebrity DJs. Sorado had just allowed everyone to be a DJ, but like it wasn't.
And it was like the beginning of the EDM boom.
The beginning of fake DJing, the beginning of like a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And
it was like the what was it? The twins, the EC twins?
EC twins.
It was like,
oh shit!
It was like the EC twins, and I think it was like one DJ, Don Buren. He hired a person to fake DJ because he didn't want to travel.
Oh,
yeah,
he was a producer,
and like DJing was becoming very ubiquitous, and there were like ads for commercials, and the guy's DJing in a Smirnoff ad.
Well,
there's
it was like
nothing.
It was like finger hearts. It was like
there's
this whole
nothing on the turntables. Anyway, so I'm like working on this, and I'm thinking about all these kind of topics that we're discussing, and the thing that's changed a lot since then is a lot of DJs have built these platforms and these followings. And I kind of look, and we were talking about this earlier, you have to convert. Like I've literally gone to South by Southwest and sat in and like social media influencer panel discussions. You have to convert. You build up this following, and then all of a sudden you get hit with, hey guys, use this code when you check out, and you get, it's like always some of that shit. But what I don't think a lot of DJs understand is the people they look to for influence are still gatekeeping, right? They're going to help you with stuff. They're going to give you information. They're going to give you product reviews as long as it still benefits them, as long as it still grows their following, as long as they still get the free gear from the company. So another thing that I've been dealing with Level Up, for example, is just gatekeeping from people. I'm like, hey, I'm doing a thing. If you know anybody that might think this is cool, help it. And I've just gotten DJs that have been like, deleted it and kicked me out of the group. And I'm like, what?
Damn.
So I'm writing this follow-up to the End of DJing article I wrote a long time ago. And I'd love to say we're in a much better place on fronts, but in a lot of ways we're not. And kind of what we were talking about with like people being frauds and all this is there's DJ accounts now that the entire DJ account is just posting DJ fails. people fake DJing. Like there's no shortage of that content. So when you talk about people that are like gonna build up this following and then fall really hard and like get outed as a fraud.
Yeah.
Dude, we're there. People are going on festival stages, crimes, and just totally shitting the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need some water? Or?
I need some water. I got it.
Yeah, water? Okay.
My throat's a little musky.
Say, this in-ears didn't catch that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, how is it worse now, in your opinion? I think it's like so much has changed in the last 8 months just because I was never really on social media that much. Like, I was not really on Instagram and everything. But because of the news and politics and all of this shit, I feel like I need to know what's going on because it does affect. It's like even what just happened with, there's this fucking snowstorm in New York. I have to fly to New York on Wednesday. And it's like, well, and then Trump saying TSA is like, we're going to, DHS is going to cancel all TSA and fucking global entry privileges. And we're just like, yo, okay, so like, I got to go to the airport 6 months, 6 weeks.
6 months ahead?
I got to go to the airport 6 hours ahead.
Damn, that's a long flight.
And it's like, well, I got gigs in New York. Do I cancel the gigs in New York? And just with this snow, it's like, I'm like staying up to date with shit. But it's also like, now, even with the podcast, I'm like, do we post our reel? Because like, someone just got shot in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Like, do we post this reel about DJing red flags?
Yeah. Like,
do you know what I'm saying?
We
like,
have to temperature check everything now. Because
it's like we're like this. Let's let this shit breathe and let people like focus on this because we don't need to post this DJ content right now.
Yeah.
As we say at the day job when we're booking talent, we're just booking DJs. We're not doing heart surgery. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that serious, There's real stuff going on. So it's like, yeah, you got to, again, read the room. Sometimes you post something and you're like, oops, I didn't know that happened today. I haven't been on socials. Just pretend I didn't post.
But with that being said, I feel like a lot of DJ marketing, and it could just be me from my perspective, I find it to be so unnecessary and self-serving right now.
We talked about this. You talked about this last night at dinner. We talked about tech, and I said there's no joy left in tech. We used to get the new something, and you were like pumped because it was like actually had changes and it was new.
Right.
And now they're like, here's the new iPhone. Looks just like the old iPhone, but now you have a redhead emoji. Like it's the fucking dumbest thing.
Right.
It doesn't need to exist, but they needed to roll out a product to sell. And it's like the content doesn't need to exist, but you don't know how to do anything other than make a fucking video every day.
We're all exhausted. We're exhausted with the information that's getting fed to us. We're exhausted with the amount of products that are trying to be sold to us. We're exhausted with the services that were given to us that were free, but now are getting, like now there's a fee involved. Like we're all exhausted and everything has to do with a transaction. And I think that's one of the biggest problems right now is that everything is transactional. So like a new product coming out, we're already like, who gives a fuck? It's going to be the same thing as last time. They just want to like sell something new.
They want us to buy a new cord.
They want us
a new
to
charger.
Exactly. If you're talking about DJ tech, is that an issue?
We talked about this last night at dinner too. Like every handful of years, you get a big wow moment, right? You get the Rain 57. It puts Sorado in the mixer. You get Phase. You get the S9. You get something.
You get
like,
Dicers.
Yeah, you get holy shit. Shout out Jim Sharp.
You hate Dicers.
Yo,
Jim Sharp still uses Dicers.
He always had these mixers that didn't have any pads, and I would always bust his balls because I'd be like on a live stream and he's like dicing it up.
He still uses it?
No, not anymore. I love you, Jim.
God bless him.
I love you, Jim.
Jim is the best.
I think you guys just had two of those moments this year, if I'm being honest. And this is random because I have felt this way a lot of times with DJ Tech where like you watch the stuff from NAMM, you watch the announcements, and you're like, okay, like maybe there's nothing for me in this year. But this year for me personally, like the V5 and the Remix Ignite were like the first times I was like, holy shit, there's two brand new things that I cannot wait to start using. Like, so I think that was like
we did do the Cross 12, the hybrid turntable that's like vinyl and there are things like that. But generally speaking, for the most part, a lot of stuff comes out in at NAMM that's just last year's thing with another button.
Yeah.
It's different size.
How does Pioneer feel about like the new System 1 from Rain? Because the new System 1 in Rain has like built-in stems.
Yeah.
And it has
Stems,
USB, has USB sticks for a fucking controller.
Yeah.
Is Pioneer, like, after NAMM, is there like a meeting and is everyone like, yo, what the fuck?
Regroup.
After NAMM every year, we do have a big product planning meeting because all the cats come over from Japan.
Yeah.
I still think, and I'm very objective, right? If we make a product that I don't think is as good as this other product, I will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that our controllers are far better than Rain's controllers. We just don't have an all-in-one in moment. But I can tell you that when we do, it'll
be the new standard.
It'll be the new standard.
So Pioneer's not worried about any of this shit.
I mean, to put it to you this way,
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of DJs who are trying to get down with, yo, man, we should do something. I'm trying to get down. And they always say the same thing. Yo, man, everything I use is Pioneer. And I'm like, we're the #1 company in the world. You have pretty good odds that everything you use is going to be Pioneer.
Yes.
Because even if you look at the global market, our company is primarily dance music. CDJs globally. Think about that.
Yeah, it's not even. I mean,
you go to Europe, you're not seeing Rain mixers or like no one's using that shit.
it's not like Samsung and iPhone where like the iPhone is dominant in America and then you go out of the country and there's Android everywhere. It's like Pioneer, CDJ. That's it.
So like we're doing all right.
So yeah, with that being said, y'all doing all right.
I mean, we literally have festivals that we will go like be at the festival and do like an artist lounge and do trainings on new gear and we'll talk to managers and stage techs to make sure they're trained. And then we're like, yeah, show us your inventory. And the guy will be like, yep, here's 60 CDJs.
Right. It's funny because, and I'm just going to be completely transparent and honest. After the NAMM show, right? Everyone was like, what the fuck is Pioneer doing? They're like,
what's the rebuttal?
They're like, Rain has the new System 1. I think, was it Hercules that had like
that turntable one?
Had like a new 10-inch.
Oh, they did
dish.
Yeah,
controller.
They did
no, but everyone was saying that this year for 2026 NAMM, they thought Pioneer was like a little off.
Well, I mean, you know,
it was uninspiring.
First off, I don't make any of these decisions. Like I sit in the meetings and Japan has their agenda and corporate has their agenda and like they have a lot more data and research than I do. And also I have a much more high level view of product cycles, right? So when some news coming out, it's because the last version was 5 years ago or whatever. And it's time for the new thing. It needs to be USB-C. It needs to be faster. It needs to be like all the new tech, right? Which doesn't seem like a wow factor sometimes because it looks very similar, but it performs better. It does all the things. It'll get you for another 5 years. You know, the big thing for us this year too was Slab. I don't know if you guys got to put your hands on that, but we did a control surface with Sorado in conjunction for Sorado Studio. So it's this great piece. It kind of looks like an MPC board and you can use it. It has DJ functionality, but it MIDI maps seamlessly with Studio, which if you haven't used Sorado Studio, I mean, it's like you can suck at making things and it'll like,
it makes you
it puts it in the right key and tempo and like fixes a lot of stuff for you. But we had people coming by like Cut Chemist and Mixmaster Mike was there and they were like, I need this. I need one of these right now. This is crazy. So I get a lot of phone calls about that. We're going to be doing a lot of work at Level Up with Sorado, breaking into production groups, working on that stuff. So, you know, yeah, maybe this year we didn't have this like one thing in this particular product line. You're like, where's the new whatever? But like maybe next year we do.
You know what's funny? You guys say that, but I see the blue Bluetooth little compact thing you guys
the Omnis Duo.
You guys put out 2 years ago. Now I see it everywhere because it's so affordable. And I'm like, people are still catching up from shit 2 years ago from Pioneer.
Yeah,
this thing is not gonna like they're ahead of this time.
And we have other stuff that's not as big of a flag as you see. Like it doesn't have a big footprint. So for example, like Sonic Link technology, we came out with the super low latency technology for the Wave 8 speakers, but now it's integrated in a lot of our controllers and mixers. So if you have the F10, like the low latency wireless headphones, you just walk up and tap it, it syncs. And you're DJing. It's baked into the mixer. It's baked into the controller. So, you know, it's like Chris Rock had this bit about nobody cares about dad. Like no kids come home and go, damn, dad, thanks for putting this roof up. Like I'm not getting rained on. They don't see that. Yeah. It's like you don't see all these technological advances that are like going to become industry standard. Yeah. You're just like, where's the new mixer that does the thing, you know?
And Sonic Link is a like Pioneer.
It's a proprietary.
Proprietary. Okay.
Yeah.
An interesting thing is I always talk with the DJs and they tell me all these things, and I always tell them, I'm like, the era of like a company or any type of tech being first is unimportant at this time. It's like the Steve Jobs era that was like decades ago when he was like always be first. I'm like, no one trusts the first anything nowadays.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
That iPhone update comes out, you ain't the first one to download. You're like, wait and see until that guy downloads it, and then we'll see what happens.
But it's kind of the thing. I'm always going to tell him, I'm like, yo, in the end, you got to wait for Pioneer, because the Pioneer typically becomes the standard.
Yeah.
It's going to be the workhorse.
Yes.
It's like unavoidable. It's
like people still want the 2000 CDJs at venues, which is, I'm like, I don't know.
Would you like me to explain that to you?
Explain what?
One of the things I learned when I got this job was your average dance DJ doesn't own any DJ gear. They have record box, they organize their music, they make their thumb, they go to the club, they plug in and they play.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to spend whatever on two CDJs and a V10 for their house.
It's impossible.
So what happens is you get DJs, and part of my job is to try to get people to update their riders, and we do gear trainings, but you get people that request a CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 because they've never had the hour to go to Guitar Center, plug into a 3000, realize it's very similar, and get familiar enough to update their rider. So we're at festivals where there's 50,000 people in the audience and the guy's playing on 2000s.
Yes. Same thing with the 900 Nexus 2. The fucking V10, the A9 is out, which is far better, and it's like, I want the 900. I'm like,
It's literally just that. It's literally just people going, I'm not comfortable on it. And it's like, cool, I'm going to send you a loaner. And they go, oh, this is, I don't know what I was worried about. And then they update the rider.
I mean, at least for me in like the more like house dance music DJing side of things, that's why I think the V5 is very exciting, because the V10 is completely inaccessible to a lot of DJs. Like $4,000 on a mixer that has 6 channels is
huge,
absolutely incredible if you're running outboard gear and doing all of these like super creative things. But to most people, you're not going to be able to touch that. And so I think
you don't need 6 channels.
Yeah. And those 3 channels and still having all of the same FX and like the same kind of routing and the 4-band EQ is something that like for electronic and house mixing, like I don't know how to DJ on a 4-band EQ.
Right.
Like consistently. And so having something that's accessible that has the same sound card that's still going to sound good.
Yeah.
Like I think that was a like exciting moment for me as like a personally DJing, where I saw that at NAMM. I was like, holy shit, this is game changing. So it's like some things to some people.
Bro, did you not talk to me at NAMM?
I didn't go.
He didn't go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you just saw it. Okay, good. You get a pass.
No, I would have been freaking out if I saw that. And then I just was watching a video about the Remix Ignite, about the ducking feature for using that for mixing house music. Yeah. Like I can only imagine, like, because of how big Pioneer Alpha Theta is, the segments that you have to deal with of different cultures, different music, different geographical locations, like it's insane to imagine how like big the reach is and how you have to like break down.
I mean, we make very complex gear, and I have to do trainings, and a lot of times we'll be like, hey man, I just got my Euphonia rotary mixer, and I have
Euphonia is amazing.
Incredible. I have some effects questions, and then I'll literally go, okay, let me just do a quick refresher, because we have everything so crazy, and then I can do the training or whatever. Right. But dude, the amount of gear that I have at my house, and people are like, I have a very minutia question, and I'm like, okay, let me see if I can remember one of the thousands of features, so
with the rise of more vinyl DJs, especially in New York, the Euphonia Alpha Theta mixer is like amazing, and I'm just seeing it more and more. It's becoming like the new standard for every vinyl DJ right now. And you guys were kind of ahead. It's kind of like a late learning curve on that one, where you got kind of like a later probably boost in sales on those.
It's an interesting one because historically rotary mixers would just be I would watch Terry Hunter and Chicago house guys DJ on them, and I didn't know what was going on. I had no reason to understand this. And it became this like sleeper training thing for me, because I started getting hit up by open format DJs who were getting booked to play at vinyl bars, hi-fi bars, that had bought it for the sound quality, but had never touched a rotary. And they're like, dude, I literally don't understand how to mix on this. So like that totally changed the awareness and the knowledge of like this mixer technology that's been around since the 70s, which is actually kind of exciting.
Right. It's a beautiful mixer. And I feel like vinyl bars initially get it because of the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Because there's something about a vinyl bar that they're obsessed with, like a rotary mixer. And they must have a rotary mixer. Even though in most open format situations, especially for vinyl DJs, a crossfader is very vital.
Yeah.
And especially with the effects that like an S11 would have, and the options for effects when you're DJing on vinyl, when like you have limited manipulation options for like the music itself.
Yeah.
The S11 effects are vitally important, but yeah, the Euphonia has all those, like pretty much all those things.
Yeah. And the sound quality is just, I mean, I have a lot of conversations with DJs about trying to get them to upgrade their gear. And part of that conversation is you sound terrible. You're on a 1000 SRT. You're on a 900 Nexus 2 mixer. You sound bad compared to a V10,
an A9,
a Euphonia. You know what I mean? It's an old sound card. It sounds like ass.
But isn't that also the learning curve of new, like the newer generation DJs? They don't appreciate sound quality like older DJs.
No.
Because there isn't an importance or like a necessity to care about the quality of sound anymore for like an up and coming DJ.
I mean, you talked about like the features you love on the V5, which is funny because one of my favorite things is I love the little compressors that every channel has. Because I'm like, you're playing a vinyl that's kind of low.
Yeah.
You're playing something, you can just hit it with that compressor. Like, but all that stuff, that's lost on someone who doesn't care about sound quality or real crazy mixing. I mean, do you guys know about the output stage on the Euphonia? Did we talk about this?
No.
I'll give you a quick.
Go ahead.
The output stage was designed by Rupert Neve's people. So if you don't know, Rupert Neve consoles are like the gold standard for mixing boards. If you watch like Sound City with Dave Grohl. So Rupert Neve worked on this output stage. So what happens is, let's say you're playing a brand new 2026 house track, right? Super clean, super crisp. And then you're playing something, Curtis Mantronics. Okay. Sonically, those tracks are so different.
Yeah.
What you do is if you're looking at the EQ, you get the tracks up to where they need to be on the meters. The gain stage kicks in and it kind of melts them together. So you don't hear that difference. So you know, when you go hear a DJ play house for 4 hours, you don't want to hear where the song obviously comes in and goes out.
Right.
It's just like it's like
linear.
It's like, so it just puts like barbecue sauce right across the whole thing.
Damn.
You know, but again, that's lost if you're DJing on Instagram and you're using a 4-inch speaker and you can't hear shit. You don't care.
I don't know how usable this is, but this is just personal interest. So Sorado.
That's what I say about my dick.
Sorado was attempted to merge with Alpha Theta. It was overruled by the New Zealand courts, right? Like they stopped it. So it's clear that like these two companies have like a vested interest, it seems like, going forward to work together. And the Slab, I think, was like a really like positive thing for DJs to see that because this merger couldn't happen, they were still going to work together in a meaningful way. So is there a near future possible where whether it's the one library system or whatever means, where the Sorado computer user can have their Sorado on sticks on the CDJ?
We talked about this yesterday.
Look at the green.
At dinner.
It will happen.
All right.
There you go. The Birdman rubbing hands came out.
You got to understand, we rolled out one library to be this new comprehensive. We had to make it accessible to Algorithm Pro DJ. We had to make it Record Box. We had to make it. It has to work with everything on our devices.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before you're going to see. Yes, you can make some sort of stick. I mean, this isn't an official press statement or whatever, but it's at some point that is the next logical step for Sorado.
Right.
So I have a question. You work with all like the Pioneer stuff and other products. Usually we get approached and we get asked what gear to buy.
People are always asking me.
Yeah, people are always asking this. What's a good startup gear or good controller gear? Because everyone's like, oh, the Flex 4. But I'm like, you should just go for the Flex 10 because I feel like that's a better startup. But I mean, you work with these products.
Yeah. So the tough part about this question is it's very budget dependent. So for example, we had the Flex 6. Flex 6 was, I think, $600. The Groove 6 is the follow-up to the Flex 6, but it has the beat replacement kind of like groove strip at the top. Does everything the Flex 6 does, $200 more. A lot of people yelled at us because they're like, I don't want to use the groove strip thing, but I can't afford a Flex 10. So now I have to find $200 extra. I'm just starting out. So it's tough because I can only, this is one of those conversations. I do a lot of work where people just hit me on social media asking questions, and I have to ask, like, what is your budget? What features are important to you? What's the next piece of gear you're hoping to buy? Are you staying in the dance format of gear? Or are you moving over to the scratch format of gear? So it's kind of like just an informed process.
Where do you like see the tech and the equipment going? Because like to me, like I really want it to be more like performative. I see like stems. I see like what's the Pioneer pad with the like?
Oh, the are you talking about the DJS 1000 sampler?
Yeah,
or like that. Yeah,
like I think that like we're all like getting better at manipulating all these tools, and we want to like make DJ more like performance based in a certain way. Do you think that like that's the future of the tech, or do you think it's just like speed, connectivity?
I think there's a handful of things that are at like the top of that list. So obviously sound quality, we always want everything to sound the best. We always want it to be the most reliable, you know, in the elements, in the heat, in Crazy Club, all of these things. I think you're going to see, we're always trying to eliminate the weak point. So like when we came out with the Cross 12, like we just wanted to get rid of the needle, but we wanted you to have a turntable feel. I think you're going to see us, you know, trying to identify weak points in your setup and trying to get rid of them. So if that's more things are just all in one, if it's a mixer with a USB stick port, if it's a, you know what I mean? As far as the performative aspect of it, I mean, yeah, I think, you know, with the RMX Ignite, with the DJS 1000, getting incorporated into more like festival setups with like 4 CDJs and an A9, it kind of just depends on how you DJ.
Yeah.
You know, like even the V10 and products you're talking about that have 4-band EQs and other effects, the effects on a lot of our products are also varied just depending on how you use them, how you freak them. So
I know it's so funny. Do you guys ever look at like your mixer and think there's 8-10 effects on here that I have never touched and never planned to touch?
For sure.
And it's so funny. And then you every so often you touch one and you're like, Helix, what the fuck is going on here?
I mean,
So
that
you
was,
walk into a different room, like, what the fuck
like
is this?
we came out with the S7 mixer and it had less buttons than the S11 and the S9. And a bunch of people were like, dude, there's only 3 buttons over here. I'm like, how many effects are you using? They're like, well, I use echo and reverb, and that's kind of it. And I'm like, okay, so what do you need all these other buttons for?
But I had them before and I didn't use them.
Yeah. There's 1,000 effects in Sorado. It's like, if you find ones you love, please use them. Yeah. But also don't tell me you're in there like, guys, you ready for some Helix plus a... You're not doing that. Nobody's doing that.
How do you approach DJing now? You're splitting your time between Humble Riot and Pioneer and probably a bunch of other projects. You know, where do you find the time to DJ?
So part of the reason I like Level Up is because I've gotten to this point in my career, and a career is a weird word because some people will think a career, it always has to be this trajectory of what, you know, up forever. Yeah. For me, success is different for everyone. For me, success is doing whatever you want to do. So
yeah, like freedom.
So I love the fact that I've gotten to this weird place in my career where I'm less competitive. I've taken a lot of the ego that you have when you're like competing with guys and girls in the club market for different gigs. I'm out of that. So like Level Up is a good thing where I'm like, I will help you with whatever you need. You don't even have to tell anybody. Like, I don't need to get anything back from this. So DJs kind of become the same thing. I only do gigs I want to do. You know, I do vinyl gigs. I do good, quote unquote, good music parties, things like that. I still do the occasional like big money private event, but as far as that hamster wheel of like, I got to be here every Friday night and play music that I absolutely hate, I don't need to do that. Just hang out with my girl, watch a movie, do nothing.
When did you start like relieving yourself of the pressure of what you thought you needed to be as a DJ? Do you understand what I'm asking? Kind of.
Yeah.
Because there is a certain point. I feel like I'm kind of almost seeing that, where there was a point where I, like, if I saw a DJ doing a big room and killing it, and I talk to a lot of DJs, right? They're like, oh shit, like I want to do that room.
Yeah.
And I used to be that DJ where I'm like, I want to do that room. Oh shit, I want to do that room. And now I'm just kind of like, I feel odd that I don't want to do those rooms. Where I'm just kind of like, inside I kind of know like, oh, I know that room. I know what they want for that room, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to put myself through that to do that room. And it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, good for them though. Like they killed it, and they're doing their job, and they're fucking murdering it. And I'm happy for them. But it's kind of one of those things where, I don't know if you went through this, where you're kind of like, you're surrounded by so many like legacy and goats and like these big DJs.
Yeah.
And they still have this kind of juvenile, immature outlook on where they should be as a DJ. Like they should always be number one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you're in your 50s and you still want to be the best DJ.
Well,
and do you understand what I'm saying?
We talked about this last night at dinner.
I love that quote because that one's from the previous Patreon that we put out, and you killed that subject.
I don't know if I killed it.
You did really well.
All I did, what I'm trying to say is that
it was incredible.
As you start entering like an older statesman like level of DJing,
would you call old white gentleman?
Old white gentleman.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I cringe when I see DJs on Instagram in their 50s still trying to sell themselves and like kind of prove, or they get mad like, yo, I'm the best. Well, like, when did you ever question that I was the best? And I'm just kind of like, damn, like we still got, like, we're still
not only
doing
that,
this?
DJing is perpetually, a lot of people are stuck in, yo, I did this thing in 1986. And I'm like, and then what happened for the next 40 years?
Don't worry about all that.
I mean, dude, I get people, yo, we should do something. And they're like, here's my press kit. And it's like, stops at 1989. And I'm like, there's a couple things, parts to this. We had talked a little bit last night about, you know, older DJs, older men specifically, not working on themselves, not become emotionally mature and having a broader perspective on their life. Right. And I think that's part of it, is you're still stuck in like, yo, I'm 16 and I'm like competitive in these unhealthy ways. COVID was interesting because a couple things happened. Obviously you couldn't DJ really. You start DJing. I started DJing on Twitch a lot more. I was producing live streams. We were doing Streams for Dreams, charity live streams. Shout out Mark Brand to try to feed people that needed things. I started my record label, Private Stock Records. So I leaned in this weird way back into just what I would call really good music that I love, habits that are why I got into DJing, sharing music, just doing all this stuff. Just, it's not that fucking serious, right? So the world opens up, and now I have the job at Pioneer and I have the job at Humble Riot. So I also don't need to DJ that much. Like, I'm fine. And I just had the space, and this is kind of what we talk about at Level Up. Like, you have to have the breathing room to be able to take a step back and go like, is this what I want to be doing? So I had the space to go, well, I've been running like a private events company for a decade, and I pretty much hate doing weddings. And most of the private events, I want to die. I don't have to do that anymore. And like, that's a freedom that I was able to walk away from. But I had a lot of other friends who are like, yeah, I got 3 kids and I can't, you know, and they're just like doing shit they hate every weekend.
Right.
So for me, I think that's kind of when that happened. And then I went from that and I looked at the club gigs, and I would go in and see my buddies DJing and be like, I could do this if I needed money, or if like, but I don't want to come out at 10 o'clock at night, hang out with Becky and her friends and just play music I don't like, get home at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't need to do it. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's for me.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you're a DJ and you're like, man, I want to get up early and be a yoga instructor. Maybe you can't be out Friday until 3 in the morning. And at some point, are you going to exchange those things for your happiness? Do you have the ability to do that? So that's why we teach, you know, financial literacy and all this stuff at Level Up. It's like, until you can say no to gigs, you don't have that freedom. Until you can be like, I'm good. You know, thank you. I'm going to do this gig for less money. I'm going to have fun.
Yeah. You've never gone through a dark period though, or have you, when you were DJing and you're like, well, I am overindulging, or I am like kind of in a dark place with like where I am on this path. If I continue this path of DJing, drinking, or doing whatever.
No, I mean, I've never drank. The DJ lifestyle is not a healthy one. The nightclub environment is a toxic work environment. So at some point, you also have to have the contrast of what's possible in how you're spending your time working or being around people. We've all had a gig where a manager talked to you like you were a fucking idiot. And then you're like, I get to come back here next week and talk to this motherfucker. But like, what are your options? So like for me, if you've never done a gig and then just sat in your car at the end of the night in silence, not starting the car and going, what the fuck? You know, we all do that.
Right.
But it's like, what do you do with that energy? And I think I've just been good at like, okay, dude, I mean, the amount of money I'm leaving on the table, like Nugget has a wedding DJ booking company called Plenty, killing it. It's got all these DJs in the city, hundreds of weddings a year. The amount of money I'm leaving on the table, not doing that, 25 Saturdays a month, I'm good. I just don't want to go through the stress and the terrible music and all this shit. I don't need to do it. and I don't know if this is inspiring or helpful to anybody, but
right.
I think this is also part of growing up. Like, what do you want to be doing for the next 20 years? You can DJ forever on your own terms.
Especially when there are people that want to do those things and love it and are going to kill it and it's going to make them happy.
Yeah.
We talked about this last night. Nugget loves people having a good time in his bar. He still plays Saturday nights at the Goldmark. He has guests, PDC, whoever local homies are, playing the Kesha sing-along jam. They're having the fucking time of their life. That is not for me. That is for them.
Right.
I'm happy that they're servicing that need. I'm happy they found what they want to do. Right now, there's someone else doing some other shit that's like, this is exactly what I want to do. Awesome.
Yeah. But it's, you found your place. You know, it's kind of like you figured it out and you found your place to be like, I do want to like look into this Level Up for DJ conference. I do want to be behind the scenes. I have the mind to organize events and help with marketing with Humble Riot. And they're like, I do have the sense for product marketing and relations, so I can work at Pioneer. So you are doing what you're doing. You are kind of fulfilling everything that you want right now.
It's kind of like, you know, at the beginning of the podcast, we talked about all the stuff that's happened since the last podcast and you don't realize. But sometimes you got to just sit there and look. You just got to be like, I'm going to flip through 10 years on my phone of some photos and be like my girl's always looking at Time Hop on her phone and like seeing pictures of shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's really good to be like, yeah, it was a rough time and you got out of it, or you need to do that more or something, you know?
Yeah. It's funny when you bring up the first episode that you were on like years ago, you were speaking about doing like a Paradise Garage documentary, or like it was kind of like the history of DJing to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because recently I know Pioneer came out with like a YouTube series, which was like Pioneers of Hip Hop, which was an amazing series on YouTube and then I knew you were a part of it, and I was like, well, at least he's fulfilling like a portion of his dream of this documentary on DJing, right? So,
I kept working. I just kept doing all these interviews. I'm still working on this project, which I'll tell you where I'm at now. But, Hip Hop 50 was happening, and Pioneer was like, what are we doing? What should we do? And I was like, why don't you guys let me, the original concept was to put together, I had like a totally different story idea, but it ended up being the importance of the DJ's role in hip hop as far as advancing techniques and technology. So we go out, me and Kevin Kerslake, my partner, we film all these fucking interviews. Like, dude, I have
and it looks beautiful.
Thank you. I have hundreds of hours of interviews.
Yeah.
And it's bittersweet because like, I think I have Michael 5000 Watts' last interview. Rest in peace. You had mentioned you might have Clark's last one. I have one about the same time.
Right.
Rest in peace, Clark Kent. So I was able to cook down this 3-part series, and there's so much left over that like now, man, I don't know if you guys have been following, like, I don't know, Matt Damon had this podcast the other day where he talked about like his experience making this movie with Netflix and how they like basically gave him
Ben
a memo.
Affleck, right?
Yeah, they gave him a memo that was like, you have to state the plot early and 6 more times because people are like
I think
watching.
it was on your favorite podcast, the Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, it's
right?
me and Joe. I'm going there right after this. We were talking about metal before the show, and he goes, "You guys talking about MAGA metal?" And like, I don't know where we're going.
You got to do Rogan and then Schultz, right? You got to do Schultz's podcast.
We're doing a gangbang. But basically we got to the point where just like we have all this stuff, we're just going to have to make it ourselves. Like literally, I'm going to have to edit hundreds of hours of interviews into this thing myself. So that's like what I'm prepping to do.
Yeah.
Because like if you go into Netflix, like I have friends that do stuff for Amazon and all these different fields. They're like, I've had friends been kicked off their own projects. They're not going to give you the creative control to make the thing you want. So it'll get done. It's just taking a lot longer than we thought. But yeah, that was just
so there's more to the series.
It's not going to be, so the Pioneers of Hip Hop was a strictly Pioneer DJ thing.
Right.
But all the interviews we shot, dude, we have interviews we didn't even use.
Yeah.
Guys in Atlanta, guys in Houston. I mean, dude, I have Michael 5,000 watts in there for like one sentence.
So
I mean,
you almost have to curate themes and like topics for YouTube that you kind of pull from all different interviews, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So you
I mean, dude, I got people in New York that were like 60s and 70s DJs. I got West Coast guys. Like,
right. So you need to just show, like, really just kind of almost go through all the footage, like
basically I have to buy an editing computer, which I've already spec'd out.
Right.
Learn Premiere extensively.
I don't know if you have to do that. I think you just have to create an Excel sheet with timestamp topics for each.
I've done this enough to know that this is, whenever I say go, it's going to be like 1,000 hours. But, you know,
I would never do that alone.
Yeah.
I would actually go through the footage with somebody, timestamp it.
I'd love to have an assistant editor, because Kevin and I were talking about this, but I don't have anybody local to me. You can do it virtually, but it's a lot easier to have someone come over and kind of work through selects and stuff like that.
I think timestamping everything and logging it in and using AI to kind of organize all the topics would be even maybe slightly easier.
AI is okay, but you lose the special sauce of writing.
No, but just organizing all the footage together, and then once it's organized, you can kind of compile them and be like, oh, this is the focus that we're going to do for this one, and this is the focus for that one.
I don't know if you comprehend how much footage I have. Like Clark's,
I can comprehend.
Like Clark's interviews, like 4 cameras at 8K for 2.5 hours. It's like, but I also just want to listen to it and be like, you know.
It sounds
time
like
capsule.
you're like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to build this house myself.
Oh yeah, we're
piece by piece, and I don't want any other output or influence on this thing. And so it might not be like the most efficient way, but it's the most
painful way, but it's the most rewarding way. It's
That's
like
the most un-Zimmie thing I've ever heard you say, where I think like your success for execution is like diminishing as you talk to me more about this.
It's talking to people who have done this, you know, like if you look at the Queen's Gambit, Queen's Gambit was one of the most successful shows on Netflix, most watched shows. It took them 30 years to make it because no one believed in the story. And the guy was like, well, I'm not giving up. I'm just going to keep rewriting and working and doing all this stuff. And then it became this thing. So for me, there's not some huge rush for me to like totally sidetrack my life to make this thing. I got enough stuff going on, but we're just going to chug along, you know? Okay. Crooked's mad skeptical.
I think
cut to Crooked's angle.
I think getting all the footage, organizing it, knowing like where are the topics inside each guest and what they were speaking on is going to help volumes.
Yeah.
And then kind of piecing them together, but editing each one by one.
No. I won't be editing each one by one, but I'm not turning story notes over to AI.
Well, no, I don't think you should.
You know, all these shortcuts.
I think you just need AI to take your timestamp notes to organize where the topics are. If you code, well, this section was about Atlanta, you know, whatever, or if it was about Paradise Garage, you set up these codes for the timestamps and then let AI pull from all your timestamps and notes and then create this kind of like guidebook on what should be and shouldn't be.
You know, the funny part about this is by the time I get to starting, we're going to be in a totally different, like, you know, Premiere's going to have AI baked in where it'll be like, here you go. And it like does a thing. Like GoPro right now has these quick edits where you like load shit and it goes, how do you think about this? And it just makes you an edit and you're like, it's not too bad.
Well, this is what AI should be. I think this is what we should be using AI for, so that we're not using and wasting hours and days and months and years.
Yeah. This is also just work that I enjoy. I mean, it sounds really weird to sit there and just watch a 3-hour interview with the Beat Junkies.
I think you should 100% watch it and go through it, but it's too tedious to organize all that shit. I think unless like you're hiring an accountant or somebody who wants to do that shit, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I think you're wasting time and energy and brain power on things that can be like, used for the actual editing process of it, you know?
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Let me know. Zimmie, I love you.
Love you too, bro.
I love you. I can't wait to see you for Level Up for DJs. That is going to start March 29th.
Yes.
To March 31st.
If you have questions, if you're watching this, just please message me. I'm very accessible.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets, levelup4djs.com. Check out us on socials.
Can we do a R.O.A.D podcast discount code? Or
yeah. We're going to do a R.O.A.D podcast discount code. Use R.O.A.D podcast and you'll get something. You'll get a little.
Okay.
We'll do that. I'll literally cook that up today.
All right.
Nice.
Perfect. All right, Zimmie, thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you in a month or so.
Yeah.
All right. Peace. If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.